My name is Rohan.
My name is Shreya.
And my name is Rima. This is our computer game and simulation project. Imagine a world teetering on the edge where hope seems like a distant memory. That's where Jir steps in, not just as a character in the game, but as a last glimmer of light in the darkening world. Jir, the world's final stand, is a thrilling adventure that invites players into a saga of resilience, courage, and undying fight for freedom.
As Jir dives headfirst into a series of dynamic levels, each crafted with a perfect blend of challenges that test both reflexes and wit. The mission is to dodge the deadly obstacles, confront the menacing host cult, and capture all the flags that mark the victory of each stage and collect the coins.
The game consists of obstacles such as spikes, dangerous heights, and a deep void.
The objective of the game is to collect the coins and finish all 3 levels. The first level is Skywalk Circuit. Jir's journey begins in the high altitudes of the mountains where the danger lurks around every corner, dodging incoming host minions and leaping over them. He encounters a first wave of host minions who attempt to impede the progress to reach the flag of the end level while avoiding the obstacles and defeating the minions of the host cult. He captures the flag and proceeds to the next level, the host layer.
Let's get into the back end of it. First, the program consists of scenes and files. The game was programmed in Go coding, the language of GoBot. The scenes are what really runs everything. Over here, you can see all the scenes that are there. We have coin scenes, enemy scenes, flag scenes, the camera that tracks everything, the spikes, player, etc. These are every component of the game. There's also assets, which are just like the actual parts of it. The scenes are where you build code on top of the assets. And then here are resources where we got the building blocks of the entire code. So all the dirt and the player itself, how the player looks, was from the resources.
Level 2 takes place in the host lair. The host lair is a dimly lit underground maze. As Wason progresses into the lair, shadowy figures of the hosticle emerge. Next, Wason confronts the minions in a vast, deep chamber deep within the lair. The minions submerge dark energy, creating a formidable obstacle course. Wason must navigate through moving platforms and avoid energy blasts from the host minions. Finally, having defeated the minions in level 2, Wason is able to capture the flag and make his way to level 3.
When creating all the components, we had to add every single function and action that occurs too. The main process that occurred when I was doing all of this was first creating a scene. I would create a new scene like this. When I create a new scene, I would have the option of what kind of node I wanted. So far, I already have all the scenes I want. So I'll just open old scene. For example, the player scene, which is the way the player moves. So here is the coding part of it, where I decode all the parts that moves the player. So here, we have all the constant values. For example, gravity, which brought the player back down to the ground after he jumped. There's also max horizontal speed. There was dash speed, is when you click shift and you can move forward. There's horizontal acceleration, which is also part of the dash, which is how you accelerate faster. There's also double jumping, current state, and his new state, which is all a part of how the character respawned when he died. Over here is how the character moved. There's acceleration in the horizontal direction, the velocity.x. Here we have the horizontal acceleration times the move vector times the delta. The delta is the input of the user. There's also the lerp function over here, which stops the player from moving. Without that, the player would keep on going forward. There's also the clamp, which kept the player from moving from to the right at a maximum speed and to the right from a maximum speed. And then there's the Y component of it, which is how the character jumped and double jumped. Over here, you can see that move vector dot Y is less than 0, which basically just means if the user clicks the jump button, that gives a value of -1 and thus is less than 0. And then if any of these 3 conditions is met, if the character is on the floor, or if the character has the ability to double jump, or the coyote timer is stopped. That plus if the user pressed the jump button will allow the user to make the character either double jump or just normal jump or any kind of just jumping and moving in the Y direction in general. Over here, is how the actual character had his animations. During the gameplay, the character has his legs moving, which all depends on whether the character is in the air, whether the character is just moving horizontally, or the character is standing still. The animate sprite refers to the scene of the player. Down here is the last function, which is when the character dies. When the area around you touches either the area of the enemies or the area of the spikes, you automatically die. And thus, you respawn back to the point, which is referring to the is state menu and the current state, which brings you back to your old respawn point. There's also ability to be able to jump when you're partially on the ground. Because originally, if you're partially off the ground, it considers you completely off the ground, and thus you can't jump. So because of that, we had to make it where it was equal to each other. Right here. Was on the floor is equal to is on the floor. There's also move and slide, which basically just was like the main aspect of the character moving around.
Level is called the Victory Fortress, where he faces challenges obstacles in order to defeat his enemies once and for all. Boysen Jer engages in an epic battle against the Hosa minions.
He fights the Hosicle, who attacks him with asteroids and lasers. He fights his last battle and saves the world by capturing the flag and vanquishes the Hosicles.
Overall, with all this code and with the scenes and assets and the resources, we were able to make the FBLA game. Thank you.